Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Glenn. Glenn is from England in the UK. So let's see what Glenn has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello, Glenn. Yes, perfect. So how are you, Glenn?
I'm doing very well. How's yourself?
Very well. Thanks so much for taking the time for the interview this evening. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me. I've been watching some of your videos actually over the past couple of days just to see what kind of questions I'm going to get.
Oh, you're getting ready, yeah? You're prepared for the questions.
Absolutely.
So, Glenn, tell me where you're from.
I live in Ramsbottom, which is a small town just north of Manchester.
Okay. And what's the best part of living there?
Well, I used to live in Manchester city centre for 10 years. So I made the choice to leave the city centre to have a slightly more quiet life. That's exactly what I've got, and I love it. It's just really nice. It's a nice, quaint little town. It's a kind of a touristy town, so it gets a lot of visitors, which means there's lots of nice little shops, little cafes and restaurants. So we get that kind of, the good bit of that as well. So that's nice.
That's the place where you're born and raised?
No, I've got quite a complicated history when it comes to where I'm from. I was originally born in Lincolnshire.
Okay.
Both my parents were in the RAF, so first 5 years was spent in an RAF base. And then when they both left, we moved to a town nearby. And then when I was 7, we moved to Lancashire because my dad is from here. So he wanted to be near his parents. So we moved up here. And I've been living in and around Accrington pretty much ever since. My mum is from Scotland. So when I went to university, I decided that I wanted to have a bit of life in Scotland. So I went to university in Scotland. But yeah, since then, moving back, I've lived in Accrington or lived in Manchester and now living in Ramsbottom. So.
See, wow, you've been going in different places, exploring different
all
places.
Over the place, yeah.
Amazing. And do you have siblings as well?
No, just me. Yeah, just me.
Oh, should I say spoiled or not?
Would I say I was spoiled? I would say yes. However, my parents were very, very good at raising me, and they did not raise me a spoiled child. I was made to appreciate everything I got. That's what. That was definitely taught.
Very amazing. Glenn, tell me, what do you do for a living?
I'm a toy designer.
Wow, tell me a little bit about your job.
Okay, so I've been toy designing now for about 6 years. And essentially, my job is I come up with ideas. So do the initial drawings, we'll pitch them to the company that we're working with. And then when we get the green light, I'll start developing in 3D. And then I'll follow the project through till the end, really, till it's approved. And then it'll get sent off and get packaging done and all that kind of stuff. So, but it's quite good. It's very varied. I can work on anything. It could be an action figure. It could be a playmat. It could be a play set. It could be a gun or whatever, it could be anything. So it's all quite fun.
So you create any kind of toys, any kind?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Wow, amazing. Glenn, before we start our journey, William the Magic Box, I would like to tell something interesting about yourself.
Well, I think I'm quite interesting. I've got lots of hobbies. I collect cowboy boots. I've been reading comics since 1984. I have a massive collection of comics. Wow. I've worked for ghost hunting television programs. So quite a bit going on.
Oh my goodness, I remember now. Actually, we talk about your fascination about hats. I remember now. You're talking
I've got a lot of hats, yeah. I nearly wore my Stetson, actually.
I was telling you before that I was wearing that hat, cowboy hat, because when I started the show during the pandemic, of course, all the barbers were closed. You couldn't go to have haircuts. And I said to myself, okay, I'm going to let my beard grows. I'm going to let my hair grows and to see, because I never grow that long like yours. You have a long, beautiful beard. I never grow. And one point when I started doing the show, I was like, oh my God, no, I think it's too long, the hair, and it's not kind of settled. You know, it's okay to have long hair, but you need to be, it need to be trimmed and nicely, you know what I mean? But it was all over the place. And I was like,
I've had long hair, and I've had long hair down here.
Wow.
And, you know, I go through periods of time of wanting really long hair, and then I'll get it cut short, and then I'll want to grow it long again. So the moment you start growing it long, there's just that period of time where it just looks terrible no matter what you do with it. So yeah, hide it under a hat. So yeah, but at the moment I'm like, no, just keep it short.
It didn't get, I mean, it didn't get that long, but you know, when it's all over the place, not kind of nicely trimmed. So I said, okay, to put something on to, you know what I mean, hide a little bit those mess hair. And I was in Boston a few years ago with a friend, and I never wore hats, like, you know, on my daily basis. And my friend was there, and he was like, put on this hat, cowboy hat. I was like, oh no, I don't feel like, why? He said, just put it on. I want to see you wearing. And I put it on, and I was like, and he said, oh my God, no, please get it. I said, no, I'm not gonna buy. No, I said, okay, I'm gonna buy for you because I love it. I said, okay. So he gave to me, and actually it's helped me a lot through the pandemic when I was doing the show, because it was the only way to hide my messy hair. Glenn, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend. Okay, full of random fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to move a little bit before the first question. Let's do it. Oh yes, I can see you like dancing.
Oh yeah, amazing. I can move.
Glenn, before we start the game, during the journey, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay? Friend. First question for you is, who was your first crush and why?
Who was my first crush? Oh God. Well, actually, this is like, I am gay. And I always tell people, Benny from ABBA made me gay. Like, you know, I was a young boy in the 70s, and Benny, I think he was definitely one of my first crushes. He just, you know, big beard, he had the boots and stuff like that. He just had a nice smile. And yeah, Benny made me gay.
Wow, I love your answer. My God, imagine. I think I love ABBA as well. I think they were just, you know,
I mean, like, I've grown up listening to all kinds of music. I was a heavy metal fan, and still am. And but you know, you can't not like ABBA. ABBA is a standard. They were a quality band with quality songs. You know, and stood the test of time. Still going now, kind of.
I know, I think their music never dies. My goodness, their music is just like, when you listen to them, it feels like it just came out like, I don't know, last year or this year, because it's so unique and rare and fresh. And, you know, it's amazing. I think they were like legends, you know, they all been legends.
Oh, absolutely.
Amazing.
People wish they could be like ABBA.
And actually, when you say about that, actually, when you look back, the way they were dressing, they look very nice and cozy and approachable as well. Of course, everyone loved them because of the way they were expressing themselves as well through clothes. And yes, totally understand. Wow, good one. I'm glad this question came up to you. Next question, let's do it. Okay, Glenn from England. Next question is, what is the silliest thing that you ever post online on social media?
I think a lot of it would probably have to be some of the costumes I've worn. I used to be involved with a drag act, drag club, sorry. And every month there was a theme, and everybody would dress up in that theme. And although I wasn't actually a drag queen myself, I was actually more of a drag king. I used to create sort of masculine characters, but hyper you know, like all kinds of weird costumes, and sometimes I would perform with the queens on stage. So every month I would have like a crazy outfit that, you know, I would love to, that, you know, spent the month making, and then just getting to wear it. And then I used to love just posting everything up just to show people what I was wearing. You know, it was cool.
Do you still dress up sometimes? Like, for example, Halloween, let's pass the weekend. Did you dress up?
I did dress up, but it wasn't like quite crazy. I actually went to Whitby this weekend, and Whitby Abbey is famous for being an inspiration for Dracula.
Oh, wow.
And so they actually had this big event there on Saturday night where they lit up the Abbey, all like crazy weird colours, and they actually had like a cast of actors reenacting sort of the Dracula story. So I went with a top hat and a nice long wool coat, and looked very gentlemanly and dapper, you know. So that was quite fun. But there was nothing crazy. There was no makeup or anything this time.
I see. All right. Do you celebrate Halloween every year? Do you kind of dress up?
Yeah, I mean, I love Halloween. It's probably my second favorite holiday after Christmas, because Christmas is my number one. You can see a Christmas tree behind me. And
yes, I think I can see now. There's yes, oh my god,
that is up all year long. I have Christmas and Halloween up all year long.
Wow.
But yeah, so yeah, every year I do something for Halloween.
Amazing, good. Next question, let's do it. Glenn, before the next question, when I was checking your profile a little bit, there was a phrase there that got my attention. It says there, I art for a living and write for the laws.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this statement in your profile.
Well, obviously, I'm a designer for a living. That's my art side, but I also write. But obviously, there's nothing professional about that. That's just something I do for fun. I did publish a book back in 2008. I spent 4 years writing a novel.
Wow.
And it was great. It got to number 9 in the Amazon sci-fi chart, so I was very happy with that. And I am now writing the sequel as such to it. I started doing it during the pandemic because obviously I had a lot of time to do it. So I spent the pandemic writing. I wrote about 50,000 words. And since getting back to work, I haven't done anything. So yeah, really, one of my goals next year, that is kind of one of my resolutions, is to just get on with it and try and get it out.
So tell me a little bit about your novel. Do you have by your side? Can you take it, show your notes?
I don't actually have a copy near to hand.
It's okay. So tell me a bit about it. What was the inspiration? What's the name of it?
It was called The Lion's Blood Chronicles. It is about the origin of superpowers, kind of. That's my. I have a story which I'm writing, and it's kind of a cross between horror, superheroes, fantasy, everything I kind of like. Over the years, I've been writing sort of a story in my head since I was 16, so I have a big universe in my head.
Wow.
Of these characters and situations and stories. So it's really just a case of getting it down now. You know, I don't want to die without actually having people read my ideas.
Amazing, good for you, very good. Next question is, who in your family you would trade places with if you could, and why?
Somebody in my family?
Yeah.
I honestly don't think I would, to be honest.
Okay.
I really only have in my life my mum at the moment. I do have a lot of family, but I'm not in contact with them. So yeah, no, there is nobody I would swap.
Okay, and saying that, what's the biggest difference between you and your mom, and what's the biggest similarity?
We're very similar, and we are quite close, me and my mum. But sometimes we're that close, we can clash quite a lot. But we have a very good relationship. She doesn't live that far away. She only lives about 20 minutes away. So I see her twice a week. And she's recently had COVID. So I've had to do the thing of going to get her shopping for her and just dropping at the door and then leaving before she can get anywhere near me. But she's fine now. Yeah, we're very similar. We're both redheaded. both opinionated, and we're not shy about giving our opinion.
Amazing. Wow, very good. Next question. Let's do it. Okay, Glenn, next question for you is, tell us about your guilt pleasure.
My guilty pleasure? No, then. I don't know if I have a guilty pleasure, to be honest, because there's nothing I'm guilty about. Like everything I like, I'm quite happy to tell everybody I love it. I am nearly a 50-year-old man, and I still love Lego. So that's probably a guilty pleasure as such. I have a ridiculous amount of Lego. So much so that I can't even keep it here. It's actually in my old bedroom back home, because I can't store it anywhere. I very nearly got a set made by Lego a few years ago, because they have an idea site where you can submit a creation, and then what you have to do is to get people to vote for it, and if you get 10,000 votes, they will actually put it into a review, and if it passes review, they will actually make a set of it.
Wow.
And I created a Goonies set, oh God, about a good 10 years ago now, and it got 10,000 votes, and then there was my set and maybe 4 others that got this amount of votes and got put into the review, and I didn't get it, obviously, but that would have been amazing. But because I actually got through to the review, they actually gave me £500 worth of Lego for just for doing so well in it. So that was nice.
Amazing history, my God. And sometimes do you kind of play with them sometimes, or kind of
yeah,
them?
every now and again I'll have a bit of what will generally happen is I will see a very cheap set somewhere in a supermarket, and I'll buy it and I'll build it, and then I realize I love playing with Lego. So then all of a sudden I'll have this massive spurt of like a month of just being like Lego. And then I'll get over it. And sort of like I'll not touch it for a few months, but yeah.
Next question, let's do it. Hey Glenn, before the next one, tell me, how was growing up as a gay boy? Did you have support of your family? It was quite difficult. Tell me a little bit.
It was very difficult. Because of my age, I sort of grew up in the 80s, and during the 80s it was not cool to be gay. It was very scary to be gay, because obviously that's when the AIDS epidemic happened, and it terrified me. I was heavily bullied at school, and I didn't really get a lot of support because I wasn't out as such. I was very much in denial for a long time, because I didn't want people to know I was gay. So yeah, it was difficult growing up. My teenage years were horrible, and it took me a long while to come out because of that. But it's been nice to see over the years that the level of acceptance for being gay is a lot wider now. I've seen people become more tolerant. So, it's easy now to be gay, and it's nice to see young kids coming out and being whoever they want to be. And for me now, I wouldn't be any other way. I absolutely love being gay. I think it's part of why I'm creative. And yeah, it's just a nice lifestyle. I really enjoy it.
You said something interesting, and it made me think now. I think being gay, it's a great thing that people nowadays, they see as a positive thing. I think people, it's like a fashionable thing.
Yeah,
it's like, you know what I mean? You're gonna go, I'm gay. They're like, oh wow, really? They see you not with these judgmental looks anymore. They see you like, oh my God, that's amazing, because they see that, as you say about being creative. The gay community, my God, people they're so creative. The way they express themselves, so many different areas, different ways that people appreciate so much, that it became fashionable. I think people, they look at you and go like, my God, you're gay. Like, wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, definitely. I mean,
You know what I mean?
I've got a nice mix of straight and gay friends, and nobody has a problem at all. It's really good. It's really nice now. You know, I think obviously there are other parts of the community which are now struggling because a lot of attention is on them now. So it's a case of supporting everybody really now, because we all went through it.
Saying that, when you came out, did something happen, or it just felt like, okay, that's the day I'm gonna be my true self, or you didn't have the moment of coming out?
I didn't really have a big moment of coming out. The first person I ever told I was gay was in a comic book shop. I remember that.
Oh, that's sweet.
And it was a very strange occurrence, because this was in the 90s, and I used to go almost weekly to this comic book shop. So I got to know the people who worked there, and you know, I'd always buy my comics, but then spend the next hour just chatting to them. And so one of the guys there invited me to his birthday party, and I only knew him. And I only knew him from working at the shop, so I didn't really know his personal life or anything.
Right.
And so, so I went to this party, and I didn't know anybody. And I'm at that age, I was very awkward at parties. Like, you know, I wasn't cool. I'm not cool now, but you know, I really wasn't cool back then. And so, you know, I was kind of shy and on my own, and I had a little bit of talking to this guy. But obviously it was his party, there's loads of other people there, so I could only spend so much time with him. So I remember going to chat to this girl who was sort of sat on this settee on her own. So I thought, well, she's on her own, I'm on my own, I'll just go and chat to her. So we're having a nice little chat, and this guy, and I was sat on the end of the sofa, like on the actual arm, and this guy came and sat right opposite me on it, really close to me. And I was really uncomfortable with it. And he's like, what are you doing talking to her? You should be talking to me.
Oh my God.
And then I saw, and I'd never had this before because I hadn't been anywhere. I'd never really met any other gay people before. And I just remember being really, really awkward. And he was quite rude about this girl. So I remember like sticking up for her. And, you know, he was very, very forward. But he kind of got the hint, and he left, and I was a bit freaked out at this point. And then I was looking around the room, and then it clicked, and I was like, everybody's gay. Everybody here is gay. This is a gay party.
Wow.
My friend is gay, and I didn't know, and it was really weird. Anyway, so I left after a while, and the next week I went to this comic shop, and you know, my friend was there, and he was just like, hey, did you have a good time, and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, did you know I was gay? And he went, no. And I was like, oh, well, I am. You know?
That's not, and he was gay as well. He was gay.
Yeah. And it was such a strange, liberating sensation. I just remember leaving, walking up the street, like heading back to my car, and I was just like, somebody else knows I'm gay. Like, you know, I've just told somebody. And it was very weird, but very liberating at the same time. So it wasn't long after that, you know, I came out properly.
Wow, what a story, my goodness. Yeah, I think all of us, we have those moments when we came out for the first time, you know what I mean? It's for me as well, the first time I told I was gay to a friend of mine, and it was so funny because it just came out like that, and I felt so safe, I felt secure to say. So yeah, I think all of us have stories, like a moment where
I mean, it was weird because I was a weirdo, and like, you know, gay and weird. I got into heavy metal because I felt a bit of an outsider and a bit of, you know, and so I got in with this heavy metal crowd, and that's kind of my late teens and early 20s was sort of you know, with this crowd of outsiders, and I wasn't out to them because obviously at the same time I didn't want to lose the friendship if they didn't like the fact that I was gay, because everybody was straight as far as I was aware. And as years went on, I really worried that one day they would find out. But it wasn't that I was worried about what they thought of me being gay, because I didn't think they would have a problem with that. I actually worried that it was the amount of time it took me to tell them. Like, I was worried that they would be angry with me because I didn't trust them enough to tell them. You know, it was a very strange conundrum I was in for a while, and the longer it happened, the worse I felt. You know, and then it was weird because one of them came out and actually came out to me, and I didn't reciprocate that because I was still very sort of like, you know, worried about it. But everybody was really cool with him, and it was weird. But years later, I bumped into him on Canal Street, which is like the gay area of Manchester. And I remember being in one of the bars, and I saw him, and I just tapped him on the shoulder, and he turned around and he was like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I'm gay." He's like, "No." So anyway, I was just like, just don't tell everybody, because I haven't told everybody yet. And obviously the next week, everybody knew.
Yes, I think when you're not prepared.
But then I started getting loads of messages of support and just saying like, "Oh, you know, we always knew." And they're like, you know, so like we're just happy for you. So that was nice. So everybody knows now.
Next question for you is, how would you like to be remembered in life?
I don't know. I would like some of my work to remain and be remembered. Obviously, I'm an artist, so everything behind you is actually mine. You know, my book. It would be nice to leave some sort of legacy. I'm not really too worried about what people think of me as a person. I like to think everybody thinks I'm all right, but it would be nice to leave something, you know, to be remembered by.
Good one, very good. I think, as you said, leaving your legacy, something that made you happy, something that made you, you know what I mean, being creative, something that, you know, fill up your days with some, you know, happiness and just expressing yourself. So I think people appreciate that. Yeah,
I feel like I'm sort of put on this earth for a purpose, and that purpose is sort of to entertain to a degree or to contribute something. So, you know, it's very much part of my mind that I need to deliver something to the world.
All right. Ready for another one?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Hey, Glenn, next question is, what is your favorite kitchen smell?
What is my favorite kitchen what, sorry?
Smell.
Oh, kitchen smell. Oh, cinnamon. Absolutely, 100%. Cinnamon and bacon.
Do you like cooking?
I do like cooking. I prefer to bake because I'm better at making sweet food than I am savoury food. But I don't like cooking just for myself. So my best friend, we take turns visiting each other at weekends when we're free together. So I will cook when he comes to visit me. And that is the only time I will get a stove or have the oven on, because otherwise it's just a microwave meal or sandwich or something, because I don't enjoy cooking just for me. I have to cook for somebody else.
And what do you cook that your best friend likes the most?
No, he is a very good cook, so he probably doesn't like anything that I make. Because he comes from a chefing background, so
wow.
When he cooks, there's such attention to detail, like, you know, even just garnish will be very thought about, you know, and slicing things in a certain way, where I'm very just much like, there you go. But my best dish, I make a really good chicken stroganoff. And my mum is a very good cook, and she actually praises me for it. Like, it is the one thing that she's like, you're better than me at that. So
I'm glad to know. Next time when I come to Manchester or close by, I would like you to cook that. Wow.
You're very welcome. I will happily cook for you.
I love stroganoff, like with chicken or meat as well. Like, I mean, not like beef.
Yeah, I'm really bad cooking beef. I can never get it right. So chicken to me it's easier to cook, so it will be a chicken stroganoff.
And I like as well with rice, like
Yeah.
like rice. Oh
Yeah.
my god, it's the best. Wow, I love
Yeah.
it. I feel hungry now because of you.
Sorry.
Next one, Glenn, let's do it. Next question is, what was your favorite thing to do as a kid?
Play with Star Wars, I think. Well, I had Star Wars, Lego, and Transformers. That was my three main toys when I was a kid. But I used to have quite a big bedroom, and I had this what used to be a train set, which was like a big board. I got rid of the train set, and I just had this big Star Wars sort of big set that I made, and I spent hours, recreating the films and just making my own little stories with them. So good. I loved it.
Amazing. Good one. I have 3 questions left for you.
It's gone quick.
Let's do it. Going quick, isn't it? You don't realize it. Right, before the next question, as you're saying, you are an artist, and I can see that you create different things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell me a piece of art that you created, then that you go like, okay, that piece is something that's always going to be close to my heart for some reason. If you can pick one.
Well, if you can see those 2 pieces over there.
Right.
They are. When I was telling you before about the club night that I used to work at, the drag club, well, these are all artworks that I did afterwards, and I did them like movie posters. So I'd have every drag on it, and then there'd be like starring such and such, such and such, such and such. And so those pieces are very close to my heart, because obviously it reminds me of the night, it reminds me of the people, and also it was a great way to sort of try different styles, of artwork. So that's it. I did it for about 3 years. So every month I would do a poster for that particular event, and so I've got quite a nice little collection of those now. So yeah, so it would be those, I think.
Amazing. Next question is, what do you think are the best traits for a person to have?
Honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Intelligence and humor.
Which one do you think is the biggest one, the biggest trait?
Probably honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like honest people.
Cool. 2 questions left for you. Let's do it.
Okay.
Before the next one, you're saying about your comic books that you love superheroes. Yeah, so tell me, which one is your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero is Jean Grey. She is from the X-Men and famous for being the Phoenix. And when I was young, the Dark Phoenix storyline, before it was in movies or cartoons or anything, it was one of my favorite storylines. The fact that, one, it was a female superhero that was so powerful, more powerful than any other hero or villain at that time, was, groundbreaking at the time. And the fact that they made her go from a hero to a villain because power corrupts, and that she actually had to make the ultimate sacrifice to, redeem herself in a way. And obviously, superheroes don't stay dead. So really, I got to know Jean Grey more when she came back. But she's been such a strong character over the years. I just find her a very dynamic character.
I love the X-Men as well. I remember watching this, one of the latest one where she dies, and her power, my God, she kills the one of the main characters, the bold one, isn't it? Because
Professor X. Yeah.
Oh my God, it was amazing. That movie was very powerful. I love all the X-Men movies, but this one, it was like powerful. of it.
I mean, I do enjoy the X-Men films. They are very different from the comics, and that is always been a little bit jarring. But X-Men 2 is a fantastic film. That is a really, really well-made superhero film. It's one of my favorites.
I haven't watched them for a while, but I love sometimes just on Sunday afternoon, just putting on and just getting into their worlds is the best feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. I love superhero films. The MCU, I just think it's fantastic. I've enjoyed everything. I don't really like, obviously you've got your really amazing ones, but I think even like the worst one in the MCU is still a very enjoyable film. You can enjoy all of them.
I went to see Black Adam this weekend. Oh my God, what a movie! It was really good. Actually, I was expecting to be that good. I just went to see it, like, okay, it's a superhero movies. I'm gonna watch it, entertain. I was expecting to be that good. Actually, I really liked it. Yeah,
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Next question is, sorry.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh yes, it was amazing. I'm glad I did. I might watch it again, actually.
Excellent. Oh, I just started watching the Harry Potter films again, because it's November and I like that sort of run up to Christmas, and I like to have films that kind of get me in the mood for Christmas, and Harry Potter is definitely one of them.
Good one. Next question is, if you could make up a new school subject, what that would be?
I would have it be social media, because I think people haven't quite got it right yet. Because I think, obviously I'm old now, and I remember when the internet came around. I was 28. The first time I got on the internet, I was 28, and so I've had an adult life without it, and I've had my adult life since with it, and I still think we're still beta testing the internet, and we've seen it change so much since we all started getting it, and I think social media has become such a big presence in all our lives, but we're not doing it right. I think because so much negativity, bullying, I just think, in 20 or 30 years, people are going to look back on our generation going, oh, I can't believe they used to post stuff like that. Oh, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe there wasn't protection against this. And I think, I think everybody needs kind of tuition in social media.
Yeah, I think there are a lot, as you said, there are a lot of things there that people, they're not using in the right direction. They don't know, they're not educated yet.
Because we are the first generations to use this kind of thing, and it is like just trying something out to see how it works, and we're not there yet at all.
Ready for the last one?
Yeah.
Last question, Glenn. Let's do it. But before the last question, people watch the interview right now. Maybe they are thinking to write a book like you did in the past, where you put out a novel. Maybe they're feeling, I don't know, they don't feel it's the right time, or they don't let's say, confident enough. What would be your best piece of advice?
Just do it. I look back at the book I did now, and I it's one of those things that I like, well, if I wrote it now, I'd do it better. So you're always going to be learning. You're always not necessarily going to be 100% confident in what you're doing. But I think the act of doing it will bring you that confidence. I mean, I never knew I could write a book. I had English lessons at school, but I didn't go to university to write. So really, it was trial and error with me. And I wrote it at a time where the internet wasn't really there to give you that kind of information on how to go about, how you would go about writing a book. So yeah, just have a go and get some of your friends to read it, whatever you're writing. Join a book club. There's like writing clubs that you can join. So people will write something and then everybody will share it between each other and give feedback. I think all that's really good stuff now. I mean, I've always been somebody who, from personal experience and things that I've done in my life, I would never have done them if I hadn't tried. and that's with anything, you know. Like I've worked with drag queens, I've worked with bands, I've worked with authors, like doing book covers, posters, and if I hadn't put myself out there, I would never have had any of this. And I think that's what you've got to do. You've just got to put yourself out there. You will never ever be given anything for nothing, so just have a go, and you never know where it'll take you. That's my best advice, you know, just have a go.
Very good. Last question for you is, what is your most embarrassing moment?
A most embarrassing moment? It's actually quite a good question, because I think I've not had loads of embarrassing moments. I remember one performance I was doing at this drag club, and we were doing we had a murder mystery night, and so all the acts that night were to do with murder and mystery and all that kind of stuff. So the group that I was with, we were actually doing Cluedo, and every one of us was one of the different characters, and I was Colonel Mustard. And we had to do the song from Chicago. Oh, what's it called? It's the one where they're in jail. I can't remember the name of the song, sorry. The Jailhouse Tango or something like that, I can't remember. But anyway, there was all different characters, and they've all got their little moment, and so that's what we were performing. And when I was doing mine, what I didn't know is that a drunk guy had got on stage behind me and was acting up all behind me.
Oh.
I didn't know until literally my bit had finished and it went on to somebody else. I turned around and there was this like drunk guy with a beer there. And I was mortified because I thought, oh, it's just totally ruined the performance. And everybody was laughing. Nobody bothered. Like, it was because I was like, oh no, I've let everybody down. And like, everybody was like, it's fine, don't worry about it, you know. So yeah, I haven't had many, fortunate enough to not have had any massively embarrassing moments.
See, very good. Glenn, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words, and you just tell me one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking.
Absolutely.
Okay? So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Let's start with life.
Life. Adventure.
Word for sex.
Overrated.
Money.
Useful.
Love.
Lucky.
Family.
Distant.
Politics.
Oh, messy.
Fear.
Ignorance.
Religion.
Dangerous.
Friendship.
Everything.
Desire.
Happiness.
Regret.
Little.
One word for happiness.
Bacon.
Wish.
Powers.
Success.
Work.
One word for England.
Historic.
What is the name of your town again, your city?
It's called Ramsbottom.
Say that again?
Ramsbottom.
Ramsbottom. So one word for Ramsbottom.
Quaint.
If you could define your novel, your book in one word, what that would be?
Universe.
And the last one now, artist. One word.
An artist. Creative.
Good. Let's pretend I'm going to meet your best friend for a coffee, and I'm going to ask your best friend, tell me the most beautiful thing about Glenn, and tell me something that he still needs to work on, to improve on. What your best friend would say?
Hopefully, my best friend would say I was reliable. And I probably would be accused of being quite judgmental.
Hmm.
I do make up my mind about people quite quickly. You know. So,
Ooh, I'm scared
fine.
now. What's your made up your mind about me?
I think you're a very nice guy.
Oh, right. Let's play now, Glenn, in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But before that, let's play the music one more time. Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, Glenn, you can ask me a question now.
Okay. So, what has surprised you the most about living in the UK?
Lovely question. Wow, what surprised me the most of living in the UK? Okay, I love the question. Put me in the spot, and I love being in the spot because it makes me think. What surprised me? Okay, the first thing that came to my mind now is when I was 12 years old, actually two things came to my mind. Is it okay to say two things? Okay.
Okay.
So when I was 12 years old, I had the opportunity to start studying English in a private school, and I was I won the scholarship, and I was so passionate about the language that I was studying like a lot. I remember like my God, study English a lot. But of course, back in Brazil, South America, when you study English, we tend to learn the American English, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when I arrived in London, of course, a lot of different words, a lot of the accent as well for me I was quite lost. And one of the things that surprised me a lot that came to my mind now, you made me think now, is about some words that you use. For example, going to the loo, going to the ladies, going to the gents, going to the gents, the ladies. There was all those words that I just learned being in England. You know what I mean?
We use a lot of words for things, and we use a lot of words that aren't really associated with what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so yes, for me, I remember like I was so fascinated when I was working, and I was working hospitality in this hotel, and the people, they come up to me, they're like, "Oh, where's the ladies?" I was like, "Oh, ladies," and I kind of took a few seconds to understand because I could see they want to go to the toilet, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this way. Where the gents?" And those words, I was so fascinated about the being those. It's amazing to live in a country where you learn every single day. And until now, when I learn a different word, a new word, just for me, it makes my day. And I love when people teach me as well. When I say something wrong, it's not my first language, but I say something wrong, like words, and when people correct me as well, I love it because that's the way you learn. And I remember when, like a few years ago, I tend to say, thanks God, yeah. And my friend one day, a very good friend of mine, he's Welsh actually, and one day he said, "William, thank God, not thanks God. You can say thanks to God, but not thanks God." And I realized that most of the foreign people who live in London, in England, they tend to say, "Oh, thanks God," So the pressure, I just loved it. And actually, I had a partner, a boyfriend, when I arrived in England, in London, and he's a teacher, and I remember, my goodness, spend time with him was amazing. His English was very well spoken, very clear as well. And until now, I know him like for almost 20 years now. And I remember in the past when we met, I tended to say as well, "Okay, in the beginnings, I was doing this, I was doing that," and he was like, "Really, in the beginning." In the beginning, not in the beginnings. And nowadays, even nowadays, if we meet for a coffee or something, and he goes like, "In the beginnings," he always remember this little thing. So I'm like, "Oh my God, you're never gonna forget."
You will let it go.
Yeah. Anyway, the second answer is about when I arrived in London. The first time when I saw Big Ben, I was so disappointed because I picture in my head like this very, very high building, which is quite high actually, but in my imagination, in my words, it was like this like endless building. You know what I mean? Like very tall.
I had that with the Statue of Liberty.
Actually, I've been there as well, but I didn't have the same impression. Did you have the same impression?
I thought it was going to be the absolutely biggest thing ever, and like obviously when you're there and you're underneath, you're at the base of it. It's very tall.
Yeah.
But the first time I actually went to New York, I actually went up the Twin Towers because it was 99 '99, I think, when I went for the first time to New York. So obviously the Twin Towers were still there, and I remember being at the top of the Twin Towers, looking down at the Statue of Liberty, and it was tiny. And I was just like, I feel really disappointed. Like I've been sold something that, isn't true. Yeah.
Yes. So I kind of, I remember studying English, and I remember have all those, main places in the world, like the Statue of Liberty, Big Ben, Eiffel Tower. The books, they show a lot. So in my imagination, it was like a big, massive building with this big clock. And I remember when I saw for the first, actually, before I moved to London, I was living in Portugal, and I came here to visit 1 year before. And I remember, look at the Big Ben, I was like, oh no, it's quite short. I thought it was smaller. I was so disappointed. So yeah, so that's something about England that, when I arrived in England, it's, I always remember the stories about, those words that you just remember when you are here. And also visiting those places that I grew up seeing those books. And when you see in real life, you go like, my goodness, I'm here. So yeah, I think, and I'm very grateful that life brought me to London, to England, because it's so beautiful how life directs you in a direction that you're not expecting. And suddenly you are in a place where, you feel so yourself, you feel like you can be yourself, you feel safe, you feel, in a place where you're meant to be. So yeah, I'm glad that Portugal as well came along, and now in England for the last 17 years. My God, I've been in Europe more than I've been in Brazil. So just so you have an idea. So yes, it's amazing. It's fascinating. I love the question. You just made me go through now in my, my very first time, like when I arrived in London. And it's always a beauty of being here in England, for sure.
Excellent.
Did you have a good time?
I did. I was like, I could have a few more questions.
Oh, you made my day now. It's funny. It's funny because, again, me as well. I have here my laptop here by my side, and I have the time because I can go on and on, because, sometimes I get so involved with the interview with my guest, and I connected so much that I just could go on and on. So yeah, it's amazing how amazing we connect with people, and just can talk, and just can express ourselves.
I think it's really nice, actually. I mean, when I sort of came across your profile, I was like, oh, that's really interesting. When I started looking at your timeline and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. He just talks to people all over the world. So I was really happy that you reached out.
Oh, thanks so much, Glenn. Before you go, if you can share a positive message, something that you live by.
Yep. Anytime you are able to find humor in a difficult situation, you've already won.
Wow. It is so true, isn't it? I think when you face some challenge in a fun, or I know not all the time, but most of the time, you feel the pain a different way. It's more calm. You know what I mean? It's even it's easier for you to get things done or sorted in a different way.
Yeah.
I understand.
Definitely. I think if you can find some way to laugh, even at something else, it just means that you remember that you can still laugh, when things are pretty dark.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time for the interview, and you keep in touch. And I see you one day. When I come to Manchester one day, I see you.
Come and have a chicken stroganoff with me. That'd be lovely.
Oh my God! You see, it's recording. People gonna see that now. We promise. You see?
It's fine. I can manage that.
Thanks so much, Glenn. Have a nice week.
You too.
Sorry, have a good night. Okay, take care.
Nice meeting you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.